on to week 2. I was pulling a Bill Belichick. Right? I mean, fucking week 1.
Week 1's over.
Was terrible.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody can take that week seriously.
I did go 3-0 in my fantasy leagues.
Oh, did you?
3-0.
Oh, I went 2-1.
Because
I lost to you.
And 2 of the 3, I was the highest points.
How did you do that?
Antonio Brown.
Was it Antonio Brown?
Mostly.
Okay.
And I drafted a lot of receivers, and that was the position that kind of hit
that
this
you
week.
tore it up on?
Yeah.
I had... Who was my first picks? I got Julio Jones, Odell Beckham, and Jay Ajayi. I think those are all 3 of my first picks.
In your 3 round? In your 3 leagues?
In my 3 leagues, those are my first picks. And neither one of them showed up for me.
Well, yeah, 2 of them didn't even play.
Yeah, 2 of them didn't even play. One of them might as well not have. Julio Jones. But I mean, is it time to like jump ship on players? I mean, we were just talking off mic, and then we were saying the person that you're kind of afraid about is Hunter Henry, who was like a stellar tight end last season.
Yeah, and he was projected to be like 8 or 9 overall. Yeah,
easily, even with Antonio Gates still being there. I mean, but he didn't even get one look.
No.
Like, no one looked his way at all.
So, I read a couple things, and they tried to play it off as they knew how good the defensive pass rush was, so all they were going to do was
use him as a blocker.
Yeah, and so, which he did block a lot. He played a lot of snaps until the fourth quarter when they were trying to make the comeback, and they ran the 3 wide receiver set, and it was Antonio Gates was the only one in there. Yeah, so.
But why would you have Antonio Gates there when you know this dude can run?
No idea.
Is that something you can ask any of your contacts?
Maybe. I need to ask Phillip Rivers.
Oh, there was a shot I saw with him warming up, throwing passes at the beginning. And right when he was about to throw one, it looked like he was going to throw it pretty hard. Number 25, I don't know who it is, on his own team, walked right in front of him. And he nearly almost hit him on the head. You know, like that happens all the time. You jam thumbs, you break fingers and shit. He literally almost hit him. And then he gave this dirtiest stare.
Yeah, I was so mad.
Yeah, and that number 25 guy did not even look back at him. He's just like, sorry, man, I'm sorry. And
you can't be near the quarterbacks.
Yeah, right? That's where you wear that bright red jersey, bright orange jerseys. But even just walking in front of one, I mean, it's kind of, they're saying it's like disrespectful or whatever. Anyway, so the headlines for what should be the number 1 headline?
Definitely David Johnson's out. For it's a fantasy football podcast, better talk about the overall number 1 in pretty much every single league.
He was like average 1.2, 1.8 or whatever, the highest. I mean, has there anyone ever been rated higher than that? Like, as far as their ADP?
I doubt. Maybe LaDainian Tomlinson a couple years. But
like a few years ago?
He was definitely the overall number 1, even in PPR leagues, because he cut it out of the backfield so much and broke dislocated wrist.
The dislocated wrist, and he was going to try to get a second opinion, but I mean, obviously,
they're like your wrist doesn't have enough strength to hold.
Yeah, and then if he doesn't get it done, get the surgery done, that he could have long-term effects.
Yeah,
short-term and long-term.
Yeah,
it could affect nerve damage and all this.
It wasn't just a pain issue; it was like you're not going to be able to use your wrist properly.
Yeah,
issue.
You can't sign those fat checks.
Exactly. You have to switch hands.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
just become a lefty. I mean, he's pretty talented. He probably could do it. Just become a lefty.
Oh, I'm sure he could. I bet he doesn't sign his own checks anyway, so he could get somebody to do it.
Probably. Or endorses them himself. Anyway.
Yeah.
So who do we pick up? I mean, because he's out for 2 to 3 months, 4 months.
So
the rest of the season?
Even before the pickup. So the thing is, like, most fantasy leagues don't have IR spots. You know, most fantasy leagues don't have an injury spot. So the real question is, especially if you're in a really deep league with short benches,
you just hold on to him?
Do you hold on to him? If he's going to be out 12 weeks, he won't be back until week 14, which would be the first week of the playoffs if you make it.
And then, do you even trust him to put him in?
Exactly. What is he going to play? 15 snaps the first game?
I mean, he's going to be booted up. Like, he's going to have a little cast on him.
Best case scenario, he's out 8 weeks. He's back for week 10. So he'd be
and then he gets
ready
up.
for twin. Now,
what's his schedule like on?
I kind of remember somebody saying that right when he would theoretically come back, he had a really tough schedule. But just even so, it's like that's in most of our leagues we have 6 bench spots.
Yeah.
Which later in the season, bench spots aren't that big of a deal. But early in the season, when all the bye weeks are coming up,
I mean, he has a favorable schedule, sort of. I mean, the Rams, week 13, and then Tennessee, Washington, and Giants. I mean, and that's a mediocre schedule. I mean, not mediocre as far as like they're not known for their big time run stopping or short pass stopping. You know what I mean? So I mean, you could just automatically play. I mean, he's pretty fucking talented.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing. So if you have the first pick, you really got to hope you had some decent backup running backs, and you can just survive. Because if you were trying to take shots with your other running backs, which I would have if I had David Johnson, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to shoot for the moon with these other guys.
Yeah, because you don't just take your one running back and then your next 3 picks take all wide receivers and a quarterback. I mean, if you do, you're not going to win.
Probably not. I mean, in a PPR, some people might have done that, but in a standard league, they definitely shouldn't have done that. But that definitely is. It definitely hurts people that drafted him first overall. If you had the first pick, you're in bad shape. You went from having the number 1 player and then the 21st and 22nd best players to having the 21st and 22nd.
The guy in our league right now, he took Kerwin Williams, which is the backup, to David Johnson, same team.
Yeah, right after the injury, he picked him up.
he had picked him up. So I mean, he's pretty smart about that.
But then I've also heard, they signed somebody off the practice squad, DJ Foster, from the
Patriots?
DJ Foster,
from
the Patriots, yeah. And they have Andre Ellington.
Yeah, he's still there. And
so
he's still
I think I don't know. I mean, Williams is definitely the best of those 3, but by no means is Williams going to come in and put up anything close to what David Johnson's going to. I think.
Do you just look?
John Brown might get a little bit of a bump just because they're going to have to throw it more.
So a lot of slants, and
Palmer likes him. John Brown's a pretty solid pickup probably, but I think it hurts anybody else. It hurts Fitzgerald. It hurts
because everybody's going to focus their attention. Like they're not going to run the ball.
They're not worried about.
So whoever's on the team is kind of.
I think that it made it from Cardinals being a playoff team to they could go like 3-13.
I think they're going to wait to try to get like first or second pick in the draft.
See you later, Carson Palmer.
Yeah, Parson. Yeah, he's done.
or they, if they trust him enough, they keep Palmer and they trade that first pick for 2 or 3. Somebody will trade up for Darnold. Somebody will give up as whatever they can give up to get Darnold. He's one of those types of players, like Luck was supposed to be, that's probably our second headline.
Yeah,
Andrew Luck.
He's still out.
Yeah, now I've heard it could be 5 weeks.
Well, that's kind of what we talked about anyway. Didn't we say like it was going to be like week 4, week 5? Maybe that was. I mean, it's not so bad, but I mean, for people, do you even hold on to him? Like I have him in one of my leagues. I'm just sitting him. I mean, it's not doing anything. I'm not hurting for any other spots. Luckily, I didn't have a big injury or anything like that. I mean, I have Odell Beckham, I think, on that same. But I mean, I'm not hurting too bad. You know what I mean? But yeah, you kind of just stay away from all the Colts.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I wrote down that note. No Colts for me.
Yeah,
I honestly, even if I had T.Y. Hilton, if I could trade him for a more middle of the pack receiver, I would try to trade him.
But you're gonna trade for low. You're gonna get.
But I mean, there's still people that think Andrew Luck might come back next week or the week after. And T.Y. Hilton was.
I read something that's supposed to. He didn't say. The coach didn't say he's not practicing today. He's not practicing.
Exactly. Yeah. So
it's that very confusing. He's not. Usually before it's he's not practicing. But
most people are pretty confident he's going to be out for a few more weeks. But I mean,
but again, how confident are you going to be?
If you have really good receivers already, and you have like a 4th receiver you're not using, and somebody is trading you T.Y. Hilton for that 4th receiver, it's kind of like, well, by the time I need to use T.Y. Hilton, hopefully Andrew Luck will be back, and I got to steal him.
And you'll be in the playoffs.
Yeah, like and I'll be really good.
It's probably good to try to work in some sort of deal.
Again, so much of what we talk about depends on the makeup of your team. Like, what are you strong at? What are you weak at? If you're weak at receiver, you can't trade for T.Y. Hilton. You can't. If you're super deep at receiver, maybe you can.
Like, who could you trade? Could you trade something like Tyrell Williams?
Well, I would even think like somebody that had a really good week that I don't think is going to keep it up.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, because Keenan Allen's still pretty good. Those guys, or maybe like a Thielen.
Well, that the one that I
no.
I was actually going to I was even thinking Stephon Diggs, who I have.
You would trade?
Yeah, Stephon Diggs had a really good game. I don't think that's going to be
because he didn't have a solid game. I mean, a solid season last season.
No,
he just took off in the last 3 or 4 weeks of the last season. But you know who's been stellar throughout this entire time is Thielen. The guy who plays opposite of Stephon Diggs. Is Thielen someone you would keep in your try hard to get?
It's up there. I mean, he's technically a 1A or a number 2 receiver, right? Him and Cooks are the 2 receivers. But you also have Rudolph, who's one of the top pass catching tight ends, and you have Dalvin Cook, who's projected to be one of the better, catching running backs. So unless Bradford's just going to become this, throwing the ball 50 times a game, it's like I just feel like each of those guys are going to have a big game, and then they'll disappear. It's kind of like the Saint receivers.
So you just...
I think you play him. I think definitely as a flex position you play him. If you start 3 receivers,
you're talking
you play
about Thielen,
him.
right? Not Diggs?
Thielen, yes.
Okay.
But Thielen, I think he's definitely the 3rd receiver on your team you'd play.
Right.
Like, confidently. You'd be pretty stacked at receiver if he's your flex position, or if he's your 3rd receiver. I think you're very confident in that. Now, I wouldn't trade for him to be my number 2 overall receiver yet.
Yeah, but would you, someone's like, who has Thielen and know that T.Y., he's pretty explosive. I mean, he led the league in receptions, big plays for pretty much ever since he's been in the league. You can trade something like him.
Oh, yeah. Right? I definitely
do you think that would be a good trade?
I think it would be fair both ways, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that because I like Thielen.
You like Thielen, yeah.
And plus, I've had T.Y. I try to get away from players that I've had before. That's just the way.
I try to get away from players that I've had and that screwed me over.
That's why I stay away from Gronk. And then, who else? Oh, Adrian Peterson. That's a nice segue into this one. Yeah. Adrian Peterson, I think I got the last, it was like 3 seasons ago, is when I picked him up. He was my first round pick. And then
3 seasons ago.
Yeah, and then 3 days after that draft, he got suspended, taken out for the rest of the season.
Using them twigs.
Exactly. They're called switches, Matthew. They're switches. So what do you think about the fallout from the Saints game last night? Because, I mean, they brought him in. I mean, what do you think he expected coming into a pass-heavy establishment?
See, I think that the Saints know exactly what they got. They got a guy that when they're up and they want to control the clock, they can feed him the ball. When they're close to the goal line, they can feed him the ball. I think they know what they have. They have a...
Do you think they just didn't throw that out to him and let him know?
Yeah, well, I just don't... I think he has higher expectations than he should right now. He's definitely the second back to Mark Ingram. There's no doubt about that. And then that other guy, I can't even think of his name. He got way more touches.
The number 3 guy. I just picked him up.
Yeah, he he had a really good game. But again, I think in games when the Saints score a lot of points like they're probably going to, I think games when they're up by 14 and they're up by 17 and it's the 4th quarter, I think you could see AP getting 8 straight touches and getting. But I think he's going to be
down,
okay.
Right?
They were down pretty much the whole game. So
it's Kamara.
Kamara, yeah, that's a cool name.
And he has a cool picture.
Kamara does?
Yeah, he does. He has like some crazy hair, like
kind of like Michonne.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Michonne, right? I thought I saw a picture of it.
Yeah, it actually does. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like you said, so Peterson owners shouldn't worry.
I wouldn't see. My whole thing is it's 1 week, like
right, and it's hard to make decisions. I think maybe in the week 4 we'll have a little bit of a better.
So I think one thing that makes I'm in three leagues. All 3 of them are 10 team leagues. That makes more sense. I think one of the things that makes those leagues less fun is when you're in a 12-team or a 14-team league, all these guys that we're talking about have to be pickups.
Yeah, you have to keep them.
Or you have to keep them, or you have to reach for. In a minute, we're going to talk about guys that are waiver wire guys. You kind of have to go for them in those big leagues and hope you hit because your team isn't as stacked.
Yeah, because
the guys we're talking about having on our team, we're not going to cut. We got, with 10 teams, and we have maybe 4 receivers or 5 receivers each. That's only 45 total receivers, in the league,
and it goes deeper. It's crazy.
And there's probably 60 receivers that should be rostered on teams. So there's always going to be people in our league in the waiver wire that look good, and so it's kind of like.
But they look better on a bigger.
Exactly, yeah, in a bigger league, picking up quicker, faster, and so in those leagues you really have to have the waiver system. In our league, you can as soon as games start, you can pick up whoever you want. There's no waiver period. But I really like in those bigger leagues, you have to have that waiver period to give everybody a chance to look, to see what's out there, and to do it. And there's even some leagues that you have
not doing the waiver wire thing, like waiting.
You need you have to actually
Wednesday morning.
Yeah, you have to actually wait. And then if you're number 1 on the waiver wire, you pretty much know who you're going to get. And if you're number 8, you better put in a few waivers to see, if you want the first guy.
Plus, try not to make any deals like before the games start, right? Because if you what I mean when I say don't make any deals, don't make any pickups or drops or anything like that, like on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Because that screws up, because you don't know how everything's going to go on Sunday.
Exactly.
I think you kind of just, because I've already made that mistake, I'm like, man, I want to get this guy. The Cohen guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, we'll get to him later. But, there's stuff like that, and I picked up some random player that I shouldn't just...
Yeah.
I shouldn't even mess with. But it messes with your wavering position.
No, definitely, yeah.
So I went from someone who could have, because I lost a game, so I automatically get a little bit of bump. But I went from, I could have been like second or third on the waiver wire. I went straight to 9.
Yeah.
Because I made a dumb move. So if you just be confident in your selections and wait till Tuesday morning.
Yeah,
to start doing your digging and your researching. You can still do your research throughout Sunday, throughout Monday, but if you want to try to save that waiver position,
until later in the week, until you see everything that happens. Yeah,
exactly. So I kind of want to wait till start putting it in maybe on Monday night or something like that.
And then I guess just to close out the headlines, the other couple guys that are out. So for the season, we have Allen Robinson out from Jacksonville, Kevin White from the Bears,
who's supposed to be a star,
who is their number 1 receiver for the Bears. Yeah. He's had a broken bone every year for the past 5 years.
He looks old. He looks like he's 60 years old.
Doesn't heal. Apparently, he's the opposite of Wolverine. And then Fedorowicz, the tight end from Houston, he got put on the IR. I don't know if it was a season-long IR or whatever that first one is, like
the 8 weeks,
8-week IR. But he got put on the IR today.
It's his back or something.
I don't even know. I had no idea. I just saw that little blurb. And so Allen Robinson's a pretty, he was the number 2 receiver for a lot of people. Kevin White was kind of a flex number 3 receiver.
He was kind of under the radar.
Exactly.
Also.
And then Fedorowicz was, probably, between 12 and 15 for tight ends. Definitely somebody's backup in almost any league. And in a deeper league, he might have even been somebody's starter. So there's all those are things that,
You know who I also left off on here, which is the big one to me, which when I made this draft pick, everybody was like, why would you make that draft pick? It's stupid. But he was tearing it up that first freaking drive, and it was Danny Whitehead.
With the Ravens?
With the Ravens.
He looked good.
He was tearing it up. It was only on the first drive. He got me 3.5 points just on the first drive alone.
He was going to get so many catches.
In a standard point. And that's major. If you have him in a PPR, that dude is a beast. So the guy to pick up for that is a Buck Allen. Is what they're saying. That guy, I just looked on Yahoo Sports right now, and I think it said 1% owned. So if you're hurting for a pickup, Buck Allen is right there. He's good for PPR. He's supposed to be running the same positions and same everything like Danny Whitehead. All those same. They're just basically replacing, swapping them out until Danny Whitehead can get over that hammy that he pulled.
So kind of before we get on to our other little segments, a few things that I had was I think we kind of have to talk about Kareem Hunt.
Oh, right.
Just amazing.
All-Stars. Right, for sure.
He's just amazing.
He was
man.
a freaking stud.
I really think right now, if we were going to redraft the league, he would be the 4th running back taken.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it would be.
Is this before or after David Johnson?
Well, if David Johnson was still healthy, good point. Yeah, actually, without David Johnson, he'd probably be the 3rd because I think it would go David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell / Zeke,
yeah.
and then Kareem Hunt.
Man, he just looks like a beast.
He looks like a
running back,
football player.
like a real
he looks like a real
back.
football player. Yeah.
And then I'll get to if you stay tuned for the end of the show, I want to go off on this other thing.
Yeah.
I don't feel
and then. So he looked really good. Gordon looked really good, even though he played against the Broncos. I mean,
and that's
he looked really good. Yes.
Defense to run up against.
Yeah, to get multiple fantasy or double-digit fantasy points against the Broncos D as a running back is solid.
It's a tough deal. So like I was already like texting you and saying, "Hey man, I don't really know. I've been telling you that pretty much every other day.
Worried about
I'm not liking Gordon. I'm not liking my pick. I mean, this guy had 1,000 yards last season, so why wouldn't I like him? It's just there's these feelings that you get about these guys, or these misinterpretations you get about them being with the losing team, or and because Chargers were good. They were a good team. They lose by on average like 3 to 5 points.
Yeah, they find a way
on
to
average. They shoot themselves in the foot.
That was a fun game to watch, though.
Oh, that was by far the best game of the week.
Which actually hurt, and just think that actually hurt Gordon. I mean, what did he finish with? Like 14 fantasy points, I think.
For the PPR, it was 16 points.
Yeah, and so. And that's with the second half of the third and the fourth quarter, they're having to throw so much.
Yeah, and
they dunked a little to him.
I think he maybe got 3 points
after
in the second half.
Yeah.
So once they got behind, I mean, there's no coming back from that. And they just kind of kept stacking. Like they knew Denver defense knew what they were going to do.
Yeah.
And so he was getting 2 yards, and it was pissing me off. I ended up winning that game by 1.1 points or something like that, just because of those little 2-yarders.
Yep.
And then he would get tackled behind the line of scrimmage, negate 2 more yards from my scores. I mean, it was back and forth.
Yeah.
But that was by far the best game of the season. I mean, of the week. Oh, basically the season, right? It's of the season so far. There's a short.
And then,
season.
if nobody should worry too much about Tom Brady at this point. I know he had a bad game.
I'm not worried about him.
He's playing against the Saints this week. I would love to have Tom Brady this week against the Saints.
I'm glad I'm not playing my nephew right now.
I would have 5. He's going to have 5 touchdowns this week. But the only one that really worried me, mainly I have him on multiple teams, was Joe Mixon. And it's not because of Joe Mixon himself.
It's their whole team.
Yeah. They looked awful.
They looked terrible.
And I just think their coaching is horrible. It's like he's their most talented running back by far, yet he got 8 carries. Granted, it was 8 carries for 9 yards, so it wasn't like he was going nuts with them, but he had 8 carries. Give him 15 carries and 6 catches.
Again, maybe you're not calling the right plays.
It was awful.
You're not you're not using them to the best of your ability. Like with Christian McCaffrey, they changed the whole playbook.
Yeah,
it's just for him.
They added in,
so they need to do something like that for Mixon. I mean, he can be a pass. What is it? Scat back. He can do that. I mean,
catch it, run it, do it all.
Use him to his best. I mean, he's a quick dude, so why not? All right.
So we're going to go into some
sits and
waiver. No.
Waiver.
The waiver wire, right?
Right.
So these are the guys that we kind of think you would target from the waiver wire. Now again, it's kind of weird,
and it's waiver wire, and we're not doing like Antonio Brown,
of course,
or doing
now, if he's available in your league, you should probably pick him up. go and take him.
Yeah, he's probably a can't cut guy.
Yeah, unless he wasn't drafted.
Right, exactly.
Drafted. It was weird on the Yahoo app. It says he had 11 ads this week. So 11 leagues somehow didn't have Antonio Brown on their team. I'm not sure how those work exactly, but
that's awesome.
Yeah,
or maybe they just drafted late.
It could be. Yeah, that's how it technically counted as an ad.
Yeah,
I just thought it was so weird when I saw that.
It could be that. It could be that.
So at quarterback, again, and this is going to be determined if you're in a 2 quarterback league with 12 teams. A lot of these guys aren't going to be available. You're going to have to really be picking the bottom of the barrel. But guys that had great weeks that I think are going to continue is one, Sam Bradford.
Oh man,
he has so much talent around him. If he stays healthy, he's going to put up points.
Right, and if he just keeps that knee away from everybody, right? Because he's injured that thing twice already. So if he could just sit back and not take any shots, I think everybody's going to be in for like a damn treat because like that game it was like highlights everywhere. I mean,
Diggs and Thielen are both guys
156 yards, and then Diggs
had 93, and
then he kicked that kid. Man, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
No, did he really kick somebody?
He literally, like, for one of his celebrations, he was going to kick the ball. He was going to punt it into the stands. But when he was punting it, there was a ball boy running right next to him, and the ball boy, it ran like, I think it was on his back or on his ribs or something like that.
Kicked him?
It kicked him right, like, he was probably a foot away. And then you know what Diggs did? He kept doing his celebrating, and like he saw the kid. He kicked the kid.
The kid, like, on the floor? Like,
no, but the kid just, like, ran around and was like, hey, what the hell? You know what I mean? And then it looked like it hurt. I mean, God. And then he just went celebrating into an iPhone or something.
Wow.
Like that.
Vikings and hitting kids is okay. That's
that's their MO.
Bradford looks good with all his talent. I think Carson Wentz with Philly, he probably isn't available in many leagues, but in 10-team leagues, he could be.
He would be.
And again, he got lucky on a lot of what he did.
Who Carson Wentz?
Carson Wentz, yeah. Apparently, one dude that does all the stat keeping said there was 3 passes in the first quarter that should have been interceptions that they didn't get intercepted. The defense either dropped them or just missed them. But that happens all the time.
Yeah, that's why they're defensive backs.
Yeah, that's why they're not receivers. But it's just hard with the second-year player to really trust them. You know, like I couldn't see Wentz being my number one starter for the season. But if you're a guy that wants to pick up a new quarterback with a good matchup every week, he's definitely a guy you're going to target.
He's good. I did have him until I dropped him for some reason because I made a bold prediction that instead of Jameis Winston, since he was going to be out, I should take Carson Palmer. But I took my own advice and I did that. And he got me 2 points up until like minute one.
But losing David Johnson definitely doesn't help.
That too. That didn't help. But he
honestly, I think this week would be a great bounce back game for Carson Palmer. I mean, I definitely don't think he'd be somebody to completely go away from, but you have Jameis Winston coming back, so
yeah, I don't know. It was just one game that I needed a guy to fill in.
I can't see any other quarterbacks. You think of any other quarterbacks that should be picked up?
Yeah, Sam Bradford. And I mean, that was the biggest one.
Yeah,
that was easily the biggest one.
Good.
Or if you want to go and just shoot for the stars, you can maybe Jared Goff.
He actually doesn't. He doesn't look bad.
He doesn't look bad.
Granted, was it that's who played the Colts?
Yeah.
Was that who played the Colts?
Yeah.
That definitely helps.
Yeah, because
right,
and then Vontae Davis wasn't playing. So I mean, their top guys.
Yeah, their best.
So never mind.
But he.
Well, if you want to be like a risk, I mean, because he has big time players.
He really does.
I mean, he can just dump it off to Gurley,
and he's a talented guy. If they can block for him, he's not an awful. I mean, you have Sammy Watkins.
Yeah,
and you have
Sammy Watkins on the other side, Cooper Kupp,
Mr. Kupp, which we'll talk about.
The rookie.
He has some talented players around him.
But, I mean, that's a guy that he's going to be on everybody's radar.
Any week you want to start him, if you see a good matchup, he's definitely somebody you can go grab and.
I think he shook those. Now that he got his first win out of the way, and then he got a new young head coach.
Yeah, no more Jeff Fisher.
Now, no more Jeff Fisher. I think it's bright for that dude.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna start shining. So
two of our 3 are the 2 second-year players. Wentz and Goff.
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Yeah. So that's what I would go for.
Running back. What do we got for running back?
I want to go with the big dude that tore it up yesterday. That's not even supposed to be a starting running back, but he saw starting running back numbers and carries and workload as the dude from Chicago.
Yeah.
What's his name? Cohen.
Mr. Cohen.
He's a badass.
Yeah, and so
I don't know if he's going to be.
About him. My thing is, the Bears aren't going to go away from Howard, completely. Howard's going to get his touches and his carries, but
how awesome is it to have both of those guys that can do the same amount?
And not only that, I think there's times where they might even have to put him in like the slot or something because they keep losing receivers.
And then that's probably who's a better receiver?
I don't know. I guess their second receiver.
Kendall Wright?
Kendall Wright. Yeah, I was going to say from Tennessee.
Yeah, he was from Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's going to be the number 1 receiver now.
I would just run it and just.
I really think Cohen's going to get a lot. I think he's going to get a lot of catches. What did he have though? I think I had it. Yeah, he had 12 targets as a receiver. 12. That's more than most receivers got.
That's a huge pickup. If you can get that dude now,
yeah, he definitely. I think of all free agents right now, he's probably granted what the position of need. But if you need a running back, I think he's your best bet. I mean, I think there's some good ones out there.
If he's still available.
Sure. Now, if you have a waiver wire system, and you have until, what would it be? Usually Wednesday morning, and you pick them up.
Wednesdays, yeah.
So we're recording this on Tuesday.
Yeah, so it came out today.
Yeah, so you might be in bad shape at this point, but
but I mean, a lot of people don't. I mean, if you're listening to a podcast about fantasy football,
you'll know about them. Yeah,
you'll know about it. But I mean. Let's go with another running back. Who would you recommend? That someone who didn't make a big splash, but who has potential. Because Cohen, I mean, that dude, obviously he's not going to be there because he made a big impact, and it was on a pretty big stage or whatever. So someone who didn't get all the recognition, but you can see him coming up a little bit stronger.
I think Thompson from Washington, just because Rob Kelly sucks.
Right, I mean, they call him Fat Rob for a reason.
Yeah, he's not any good, and P. Ryan didn't get any play, So I really think Thompson's going to be the guy that gets.
Didn't Thompson do pretty? He did pretty solid.
He had a decent game,
Yeah, and then last season too. I mean, he was a pretty good pick. He wasn't available at any of the leagues I was in.
Yeah, I just think that I think that Washington's going to score points. I don't think they're going to be the best offense by any means, but I think they're going to put up 28 points a game.
I think that game, the Kirk Cousins thing, was just a fluke.
I wouldn't be worried about that. Mac from Indianapolis, he kind of split the workload
for Gore.
With Gore, I think obviously Gore looked like they might have just been saving him in a blowout, not letting the old guy get hurt in a game that didn't matter. But there's probably going to be a lot of games that don't matter for Indianapolis until Luck comes back.
I'm saying just keep him he might keep dust him off every once in a while and then throw him out there.
And Mac's value is really going to go up when he comes back, whenever Luck comes back, because he catches the ball out of the backfield.
And he's a stud too.
Yeah,
they're going to play him.
He's going to.
They'll play him at least 3 quarters.
And then we already talked about Kerwin Williams from Arizona. He's probably the safest of them all, but I think Cohen has the biggest upside.
Cohen, for sure.
Especially because if he keeps playing well, he could pass Jordan Howard, which would be crazy.
That's a second-year dude.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Oh, man. Crazier things have happened. All right. Wide receiver. I know you had one of these.
Yeah, my favorite is Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. I think he just has the coolest name.
It is a cool name. It's a good name. It sounds like a Max Powers, sounds like a Matt Mayfield.
Yeah, almost the same as Matt Mayfield. I thought I was going to be famous just because my name was good, and it just didn't happen yet.
No.
Just hasn't happened yet.
Almost.
Yeah.
We're almost there.
If I had a really bad middle name, I could become a serial killer, but my middle name isn't Allen. It doesn't sound scary enough.
That is kind of creepy, though. Matthew Allen Mayfield.
It sounds like
the story of Matthew Allen Mayfield.
Or like a bomber.
Inside
the mind of Matthew Allen Mayfield.
Ugh, gross.
Yeah.
Anyway, that does it for the show.
You're going to lock the doors, every door tonight.
I know. We're going to end this quickly.
So, Cooper Kupp, man. So my take on it is Goff just looked so bad last year. I still have that in the back of my mind. So I want to see it another week before I would actually play Cooper Kupp. But I would definitely roster him.
But that's a dude that you would pick up and just in hopes that he's going to turn into a Thielen.
Exactly.
Or turn into
he's a guy that, if you have a...
Who else is like a Cole Beasley gets a lot of production and an amazing catch?
I mean, any of those, pretty much any number 2 receiver.
A lot of number 2 receivers are probably even... I don't know if they're better than number 1. They just get more production just because number 1 obviously draws the most attention.
They get the best corner on them. And then, like Des Bryant had, what's his name, guarding him the entire game.
And he still managed to get something.
He did all right, but then of course Beasley's open and Witten's open, things like that.
Terrence Williams was open.
He had that really nice crossing route.
It was a good game.
But so Kupp is definitely somebody I would have on my roster. I just don't know that this week 2 I would play him.
You want to hold off?
Yeah,
till 2 or 3
until I needed to use them and
I want to see what he looks like against a strong.
Exactly.
A strong.
I want to see what he looks like against a defense that plays a lot of a really good defense that plays zone. That's what I want to see him against.
Like Minnesota?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I think a team that plays man-to-man,
Minnesota and
Cubs is not going to get the number one guy on him. Sammy Watkins is going to get the number one guy, so...
would you pick up Sammy Watkins?
Yeah, I bet he's not available.
I know, but just... Would you?
Yeah, I would play him over. I would play him right now. He's so... I mean, if you think about it, Sammy Watkins was like a top 7 receiver last year, getting drafted out of Buffalo,
right.
and he just had not a good season. Tyrod Taylor didn't have a good season. They got hurt,
and then he hurt his foot,
and then he got hurt. Yeah, and so I mean, his talent is still there. So if we think Jared Goff is a decent quarterback, well,
he's going to get the ball to him.
Watkins is going to get the ball.
That's going to be the same. They have the same kind of play and weapons that Minnesota Vikings have.
Yeah,
they almost have the
honestly,
same exact.
I think the Rams, if you had Sam Bradford, a guy that isn't, I mean, obviously he's injury prone, but he's a smarter quarterback and he doesn't make the big mistakes all the time. I think those Ram receivers would be just as popular as Diggs and Thielen, if not more popular.
I think though.
And so once Goff gets consistent and confident, I think
try to win a game against
I think those guys are just
that has potential to be
up there,
a playoff potential team, not a. Let's try to get as high as we can in the draft next season.
Other receivers I had was Galladay from Detroit. He looked good, but the thing is, people are going to pick him up. I'm actually kind of impressed that our league didn't.
Yeah, he's still there.
I like that he's a free agent because
as of this moment, he's still
regardless of how good his week 1 was, he's still the number 3 receiver. He's the third receiver on the team.
I'd pick Golden Tate over him.
Me too, day. And I would take Marvin Jones over him right now still. And I would take Ebron if I had a flex over him.
And Marvin Jones did this same exact thing last season. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
Where he was just like, whoever picked up Marvin Jones the first 4 weeks had the highest scoring wide receiver core because of Marvin Jones.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to happen to this guy. Then it's just going to fade.
Yeah, so I mean,
So I'll ride the wave as you can. Maybe pick him up and then trade him.
Yeah, if you just lost Allen Robinson for the season, Galladay would be a great guy to fill it.
Perfect. And like I said, just do like the BMW.
Sucks.
Just sell it before it breaks down. You know what I mean?
And then I think Coleman from Cleveland. I think that Kaiser's going to throw the ball, man. Kaiser really could be a Cleveland quarterback that doesn't suck.
It's not weird, but he looks sexy when he was playing.
He does.
Like a stud,
I like the light skin.
Is that what you're like a mocha?
Yeah,
that's nice. A chai tea. But I'm just saying, he looks like a stud, man. Confident. You know what I mean? He didn't look like a Deshaun Watson.
And he runs the ball. So fantasy wise, he definitely is a good pickup because I bet he averages 30 to 40 yards rushing a game, which there's 3 or 4 points, in a standard league that most quarterbacks aren't going to get.
They're not.
And so Kaiser's not a bad play, but having Coleman's a pretty good little pickup there for receiver. The other one that I don't like that had some of the highest pickups was Aguilar from
that was just stupid.
Philadelphia.
I mean,
he had a good game.
But if you're in a 12, 14, 18 team league, pick up Aguilar and then just like you said, just wait for that second game. And if it happens the second game, try to get in on it. Maybe it happens again on the third.
And then trade the crap out of him.
And then trade him because that deal is not going to last.
No, I don't see it.
It's not going to last.
And then we'll after tight end, we won't get into kickers and defenses.
No.
But tight end.
No thanks.
I will talk about defense after we finish tight end. So tight end, it's actually a big thing for me because this is a scenario I'm in. I have Henry from the Chargers. We already talked about him. He got 0 targets. So I'm already looking for – I'm not going to drop him yet. I'm going to wait. I'm going to see what happens.
Whoever's out there.
Now, again, next week if he has 1 target for – no catches or 2 targets for 1 catch, I'm pretty much going to cut him loose.
What if he explodes and does the Austin Hooper?
Yeah, Austin Hooper. Then I'll assume it was an anomaly.
Hooper did,
and week 1 was an anomaly, and he does what he's supposed to. But it'll be hard for me to just straight cut him, just because if Gates does ever get hurt, then he's going to be super valuable because Phillip Rivers likes to throw it to Gates.
Right.
He likes using his tight end.
And like you said, Gates is getting a little up there.
He's up there. I don't know that he can play a whole season. So the ones that I've been targeting were I actually picked up Clay from Buffalo. Tyrod Taylor's good. So I read a stat, and out of the last, I believe, 7 healthy weeks that he played, he's gotten out of those, or 6 of those 7 games, he's had over 20 fantasy points.
But I think you said that there's a key phrase there, the weeks that
When he's healthy. Exactly, yeah.
Right.
So I have Clay.
So are you trusting him? Well, you're trusting him for a few weeks.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna,
this is not
I think
a long
at this
term.
point,
this is a week to week.
I'm going to be streaming tight ends, which,
Okay.
yeah.
There's some positions you stream. And
Yeah, so, when you stream, that just means each week you kind of look at what you have, see if there's anything better out there, and
it kind of makes it easier for you to not grow attached or fond
Exactly,
of.
yeah.
Like me, I'm already, like what just separates you and I, like I just get attached to my players like as soon as I draft them.
Yeah.
And that's a terrible
So,
way to do
and streaming, pretty much, you can't stream running back, wide receiver. Now, you can stream a running back or a wide receiver. Sometimes you have to because you're not strong in that position. But streaming quarterback, so apparently one website gathered all the statistics, and they did it where each week they streamed a quarterback last season. Every week they picked up who they thought was the best play for free agents. And if they took all their stats, their quarterback position finished with the 5th best fantasy points for the position. So it's kind of cool. It's
in a 6-team league.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they said it was a 12-team league. So
okay.
I'm sure it was behind Aaron Rodgers and the main guys. But it's kind of cool. Then you had you technically didn't have a guy,
and then you don't have to waste a high draft pick
at all. You build the other positions.
Trying to get
Exactly
an Andrew
right.
Luck if he's healthy, or a Russell Wilson. Right,
yeah.
That's normally when you would draft them, like Russell Wilson, Matt Ryan,
pretty much
in the 5th
exactly.
And 6th
That'd be like the 6th quarterback taken. And so I think with tight end in the position, you can really do that because we have 10 teams, maybe 20 tight ends are taken, but most teams don't carry 2 tight ends unless you really have to.
Yeah.
So, the tight end number 15 through 25, each week, one of those tight ends is going to have 2 touchdowns.
I'm not
50 yards.
sold on any of them. I'm not even sold on my current one, but you told me not to even worry about it, which is I have Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine. They just had a bad game. Russell Wilson's going to be way better than that.
And I almost forgot that when I was making my pick'ems last week, that Russell Wilson's never won in Green Bay.
Really?
And he went to college, and we went to school in Wisconsin. So I don't understand.
So
he did all his winning at college,
and then never again.
And never again.
He doesn't want to hurt their feelings.
Exactly, just never
beating
again.
them. So the only other ones I'd kind of target would be Fleener. I don't think he's available too much now, but Fleener looked good. Jason Witten's just such a solid player.
That's what's funny. He's always going to get 7 to 10 points every week.
He's there, especially in a PPR. He's going to get 4 catches and 50 yards. That's just for sure. And if he throws a touchdown in there, awesome. And then,
what do you have, like 18, 17 points, something like that?
Something like that. And then the one that's available in most leagues that'll get picked up is James from Pittsburgh. But they got Vance McDonald to replace James. They just haven't. He's just not comfortable in the system yet,
and he's not ready yet.
Yeah. So,
but I hope
somebody takes James.
I think they kind of just held him. Yeah. See, that's what I like. Also, when people get scared of the players that they have,
and they overreact,
and then they just start dropping them.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't want to say like a vulture, but I feel like I'm that whole saying that one man's trash.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Well, the best is to find the guys that. We know the people in our league for the most part, right?
Yeah.
So we need once there's 3 weeks in, and but Tom Brady is not a great example, but if Tom Brady has 3 bad weeks, you could go to that guy and be like, "Look, I'll trade you." And so, like, I have David Carr. Like, I'll trade you. I'm sorry, David. I definitely don't have David Carr.
Awesome.
I have Derek Carr.
Awesome.
Derek Carr, straight up for Tom Brady. Derek Carr is probably going to be having a way better season, but Tom Brady's Tom Brady. It's like... So things like that can happen. You can always find people that are going to overreact and want to get rid of these guys that haven't been doing well.
A good example is what happened today, and I even talked to my neighbor about it. I looked on my free agents list, and I saw Kirk Cousins there.
I saw the same thing.
And I was like, well, that's stupid. And so I just picked him up. I don't need Carson Palmer anymore. So
yeah, I saw the same thing. I think I'm only carrying one quarterback again because I have Derek Carr, so I'm just keeping Derek Carr. Don't really need
you don't have to worry about
backup.
anything.
And so I saw the same thing because he picked up Sam Bradford
which is a good.
It's fine.
That's a good one.
But there's no real reason to. Either way, it's not like Sam Bradford's not going to be a top 6 quarterback for the season.
His players are.
Yeah,
but I don't
think he's going to do it.
Get it.
And so it's like,
I don't know how that makes sense.
People just react. No, yeah, I mean, especially if you throw it to the same guy over and over and over again, he's the only one that gets. But then you throw 4 interceptions, it kind of negates the good
for that
guy,
Sam Bradford. Right?
People overreact.
But see, that's why I say I love when people start seeing.
It's hilarious.
People that see all these high, like, ooh, I got to get these guys. Just ride that wave, man. That's the fun part about fantasy football is that you ride those waves, those highs and lows, and it's fun to me. So yeah, I picked him up. I picked up Kirk Cousins. I didn't need him, but I just picked him up just because I thought it was funny.
All right, what we got next?
Do you want to just do sits and starts? Just a couple.
Yeah, let's just run a few.
Okay.
Run through a few.
I put on here. Who do you want to start? Wentz or Cousins?
Oh, that's a good one. So Cousins is playing against the Rams, the Rams defense looked really good.
Yeah, right. They look pretty studly.
I'm kind of hesitant to play against the Rams defense on the road with Cousins, especially after Cousins' bad game, kind of like letting him. But you know who Wentz is playing?
Who?
The Chiefs.
Oh, that's even.
Yeah. So it's
so if you want to just stay away from
I would just not start a quarterback. Hopefully not. I won't get any negative points.
You might as well just start
I think, man, with those two matchups and just you saw what the Chiefs did to Tom Brady, even though they lost Eric Berry, I'd have to get rid. I couldn't play the Eagles.
I don't want to play anybody playing against
the Chiefs. Right.
Okay, the other starts and sits. I'm going to do running backs first.
Yeah.
You okay with that? Or do you want to go swap
back and forth?
Yeah. So I'll do running backs first. Melvin Gordon at Miami, or Ty Montgomery at Atlanta.
Oof.
I didn't even give you that one to start. That's
I know.
So because you could have those too.
Oh yeah, that could definitely be second. Mel Gordon's probably your first running back, but Gordon. I mean, you can have Montgomery as your third running back, especially if you want running back in a standard league. In a PPR, which is what I was kind of thinking about, it's probably a little bit less likely you'd have both of those and a third one to take over.
But I'm thinking like the Gordon, like the way I did it was you did a running back and a receiver.
Yeah,
and then on the third or fourth round,
you get a couple more running backs.
Then you'll
definitely. Now you could definitely have Gordon, and then you took Hunt and Montgomery, and you're playing Kareem Hunt.
That's a pop.
And so now it's like, okay, do I play Gordon or Montgomery?
Exactly. So for sure you're taking Hunt. You're taking a hot hand.
Yeah. And so...
but, I mean, Ty Montgomery looked pretty
they both look good. Montgomery, and the thing is...
And then you can't fault, like we said, you can't fault Gordon, because, I mean, he was playing a hardcore defense.
Montgomery is their back. He's a Green Bay back. There's no worry about that.
You want to ask him, see what he would think?
He'd probably have a better answer than us. I would probably lean towards Gordon. Gordon is just
versus Miami, who we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, exactly.
What their defense looks like.
And
you're playing at Atlanta, which isn't this their home opener?
Yeah.
See, yeah. So I think
playing at Atlanta is tough. Although I
down.
think Green Bay is going to still score a lot of points. It could be Rodgers going for 4 touchdowns and Montgomery doesn't get any touchdowns. I think Gordon. If the Chargers score some touchdowns, Gordon's going to score.
That's their lead back.
He's their number one. He is a super elite running back.
Yeah. Okay. So
at this point, you play him.
We're going Gordon. Okay. What do you got for receivers?
First one I got for you is Terrell Pryor Sr.
Oh yeah, right.
Or Michael Crabtree. So Terrell Pryor is playing against the Rams. Michael Crabtree is playing against the Jets.
You see, like the Jets defense, I mean, even though like the whole team sucks as like a whole, I mean, not sucks, but they're just not.
Yeah,
they don't win games.
No, you're right.
Right. I mean, it doesn't mean they suck. It just means that they don't win games that they're supposed to win.
I mean, they lost to the Bills by 9. It wasn't like it was a blowout
or anything like that. But I mean, those are defense games. You know what I mean? And so that defense looks pretty solid. You know what I mean? I mean, I wouldn't say solid. There's still holes in it.
Sure.
But, I mean, you do got Crabtree, right? Crabtree's playing him. And you got Mr. Carr.
Yeah.
And then you got Pryor, who's going against the Rams and a Kirk Cousins that has to make up for last. I mean, he's playing on his last contract year. He's franchise tagged. So I mean, he's looking for a bounce back. The NFC East fan in me wants to say Terrell Pryor. Plus, I had Terrell Pryor last season, and I thought he was fantastic. But I'm going to have to go with my safe bet and do a Crabtree, just because he got some long catches where I was like, that dude is always there. Like, he doesn't drop the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he's like, Crabtree he's the number one on most teams, but they have Amari Cooper still. So it's like even better. Like, are you going to double team Cooper and single cover Crabtree? Or are you going to double, you know what I'm saying?
And then most of the time, that's when Crabtree takes advantage and gets those long slants, and then he's a hard dude to take down also. So, yeah,
I hope I play you with those guys, and Crabtree's the one that goes off.
He goes off on me. All right, so go ahead. So I would go Crabtree. Who would you go with?
I think I'm going to end up playing Crabtree in that matchup. Again, I just thought the Rams' defense looked good. So I'm going to see if that was just a fluke for a week. And
but then they played not a.
I know.
Yeah, so that's what you're saying.
There's my
Let's see the fluke. Okay. All right, so second running back tandem. Well, not tandem. Who do we get? Devontae Freeman versus Green Bay. They're playing at home. This is a rematch of what was it, the NFC Championship?
Championship game, yeah.
Last season. So there's some bad blood there, obviously. Or would you start Dalvin Cook at Pitt?
Ooh.
Who's coming off, a pretty good inaugural game for his own personal career.
I think Dalvin Cook is legit. So it's really crazy because I think, just kind of going off subject for a second, I think Dalvin Cook, Leonard Fournette, and Kareem Hunt are all legit number one running backs on their teams. They all looked good. They played the part. I think they're going to get plenty of touches. All three of them. The other two rookies that were drafted high are Christian McCaffrey. He's going to be fine. They just didn't have a great game to start with. And then Joe Mixon. The only one that I'm really worried about is Joe Mixon. And he's the most talented of the five.
Yeah, easily.
It's the craziest thing.
He went to a shitty team.
Yeah.
And that's really unfortunate.
But getting back to the question, I think Dalvin Cook's him catching the ball out of the backfield is going to be a pretty big thing. I know that the Falcons, they like to throw it to Coleman, whenever, and passing downs they like to bring in Tevin Coleman, so he kind of takes away some of Freeman's catches.
No one's taking Cooks. Oh, well, Latavius Murray.
A little bit. He got so few snaps. I think Cook had the majority of the snaps.
Yeah, but then who would you pick? Tevin Coleman or Latavius Murray?
Exactly, yeah. Coleman's pretty stud backup.
So.
And Green Bay defense, I understand the Seahawks don't really have a running back, but the Green Bay defense just completely shut down the Seahawks. So I think if I would, as crazy as it is, because I know Freeman was drafted higher and earlier than Dalvin Cook, I think I'd take Dalvin Cook.
You're going first round versus a third round.
Third round, yeah. I think I'd take the rookie. I've always liked rookies, though. I'm a big rookie
You're
guy.
a big rookie guy. But, that's good. You kind of just have some faith and you want to see some new blood and versus the veteran blood. It's...
And what's Devontae Freeman, or he's his fourth year?
Yeah, he's not even old.
He's 26 years old.
Yeah, never talk about
old ass.
I think I saw gray hair glistening. Yeah. No, I'm going to agree with you. Cook. I just like stud running backs like that. Like these that are stout. I think I don't know if this is wrong or not, but I think Freeman, since he got his money, he won't play as hard.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't have. He still has to prove. He still has to prove that he's getting paid for a reason.
Oh, sure.
But I just think in the back of his head, subconsciously, that he's just not trying to break his back.
A little more satisfying.
Right. He's not trying to get that extra half a yard or yard. I could be wrong, but that's just the way I see it. Going against
and I think Tevin Coleman is good enough to take plenty of snaps away. I think it hurts his production some, and so
right. Yeah, I'm going to Cook.
And our last start sit would be Pierre Garçon for the 49ers against the Seahawks.
Against Seahawks?
Against the Seahawks.
At Seahawks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Stephon Diggs at the Steelers.
Damn. Well, I was going to say that's another Redskin, but it's not a Washington Redskin.
No, we did do another Viking though.
But these guys are all kind of connected because Pryor now plays and who took spot for Garcon, and then Diggs. So I don't know. I just always get anybody playing against Seattle. I just can't.
Yeah,
it's hard to chart it. But I mean, if Garcon, he looked pretty solid. I mean, how many catches did he get?
Yeah, that's what I was looking up right now. Let's see. Pierre Garcon finished with.
He looked better than I thought for being an older gentleman. He looked sprightly. I'm going to use that word again.
He had 6 receptions for 81 yards.
Dude, that's
solid.
That's solid numbers because Stephon Diggs had the same amount of catches and yards.
Yeah, and
except 2 of those catches went to 2 touchdowns. Yeah. One of them was kind of it didn't even look like it was a touchdown. It was a tough catch. It could have gone either way. But one of them, he was just left wide open. So it was just
and the 49ers were against the Panthers, and the Vikings played the Saints. So the Saints are a little bit easier of a defense than the Panthers.
Right. So, so Garcon did that on Carolina.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive. So I don't know. I think I'm still gonna have to do a safe bet and go with Diggs.
Yeah,
you're right. But what? He is going to get that Hayden now.
Yeah.
So he might not show up. So maybe I want to do the risk route right here
and go against the Seahawks. Go with Garcon.
Go Garcon because I forgot about the Hayden guy. He's going to go against number 1. Now, if you said Garcon versus Thielen, I'd be Thielen all day. I'd be Thielen myself all over.
I actually think I don't even have both these players. I have Diggs. I just really like Garcon this year. I think he's going to be a good player, and I actually play Garcon too, mainly because I watched very little of the Seahawks versus Packers, but I saw three or four plays where obviously Richard Sherman was trying to guard Jordy Nelson, and Jordy Nelson just burned him. Now
he's slowing down.
Now Jordy Nelson is much better than Pierre Garcon. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, yeah, he's not the same Richard Sherman as he was.
Yes.
And
not like
he just didn't
he
get
got an extra step. It was like 2.5 steps.
Yeah, he got burned a couple times. So I think I'd go with Mr. Garcon as well.
Why copy me, man?
I know.
All right, so since we're copying each other, we want to give you pick'ems.
Let's do it. We're going to actually keep track starting in week 2.
Week 1 didn't count. That's we went for blowouts, and who saw Casey tearing apart New England?
Oh, I know. And
I saw my boy Ty Hill. I knew he was going to tear it up.
I don't know. I didn't
know.
Carolina last year. KC last year went 12-4.
Yeah,
they were a solid team, but I just saw them like, oh, Patriots, they're going to whoop them.
Because that's the shiny,
exactly,
like the shiny,
that's
little,
exactly right.
Nice toy. Because they're waving the Lombardi trophies,
and then I think
so you automatically get sucked into that little.
And we both underrated Denver's defense.
Oh man.
We both took San Diego and put 4 points on it.
So. No, that's called looking for an upset.
That's right. Yeah, that would have been a winner for us, right?
Hey, but you know what? That would have. But you know what? They almost had it.
You know what?
So the entire time I was like, usually like at the end of the third quarter. At the end of the third quarter, I was like, yeah, me and Mayfield are gonna look like a bunch of assholes. But when it got to the end, I was like. Told you.
Yeah.
I just kept saying, told you. I was talking to myself. The kicker.
Young Ho Koo. He's probably my favorite NFL player at this point. Have you seen his play?
Yeah. The YouTube thing?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And he made the first one, and everybody's like, oh, now it's going to hurt his psyche because he missed it. It got blocked. The dude came right through the middle. Blocked that dude. Exactly.
Did you see the snapper? He was on the other side of the line.
Fell through. Fell through the defender.
No one was touching him?
Yeah.
He just fell. After he snapped the ball... Maybe he got the David Johnson wrist and just messed him up or something, but he got it on his ankle instead. I don't know. It looked stupid. I don't like that. We'll get into it later.
Yeah, but anyway. those picks don't count. Week 2. Starting with week 2.
Okay, so what we're going to try to do is do at least a Houston game and a Dallas Cowboys game just because...
Every week.
We're fans.
Yeah, we're Texas.
Yeah. So... Thursday night game, Houston at Cincinnati. We're doing confidence points.
And our setup's going to be again. We're going to do the Thursday night game, the Sunday night game, the Monday night game,
and
Houston and Dallas. That's
Dallas.
the 5 games. Now, again, if like this week when Houston's playing the Thursday night game, we're going to fill it in with other games.
Yeah, we think there's
probably North or NFC East opponents, just so it's kind of games.
So we're kind of also in the now
with the Dallas. Yeah,
and then there has to be one game where it's out of the division, but it just looks like the Tennessee Titans versus Oakland Raiders.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just a hell of a game.
I thought so too.
You know what I mean? So. Anyway, all right. So pick them. We each get 5 points each. We can only use 1 point one time. So, for example, if you choose Houston at Cincinnati, you say Houston's going to win. You give them you're confident 5 points. You can no longer use that 5 points on the rest of the game. You got it?
I'm down.
Cool.
Houston. Those are the rules.
Because last time I think we used 3 points twice.
I thought you I thought you wanted to miss the picks. I get it.
We were supposed to. Well, it doesn't matter how. If you lose on the rest of the picks, as long as you get those big game, like those money balls,
you get
those money balls. Right. That's all that matters. All right, Houston at Cincinnati. What do you got?
All right, so for this one, this is the one game I wrote. All 5 of these games are tough, like they really are. All 5 of them, I was like going back and forth. So I actually switched on this one. Okay. I had circled one team and written down reasons why. Now I scratched it out and circled the other team and wrote down different reasons why. The reasons I'm picking
I hope you're going with
Cincinnati is because I just don't trust Watson to play his first NFL game as a starter and win on the road. I don't see with the defense banged up. I think that's going to hurt, and I don't know that they have a healthy tight end. I think every one of their tight ends got a concussion.
That's a rookie safety.
That's their outlet.
Is their tight end,
and so. Again, I had Houston at one point, and I switched, and I feel a whole lot better with the Cincinnati pick. Also, Cincinnati being at home, I think that's kind of big. They don't want to start 0-2. I'm actually taking Cincinnati, and I'm putting 4 points on it.
Cincinnati, 4 points?
That's right.
I hear your reasoning. And I'm going to mirror that, with the exception of the points. I think I'm going to go. What did you say? 4 points, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go 3. I'm going to go 3 points, just because I don't know, man. I don't like these games. Are so tough.
They are, man. They're really tough, and especially early in the season, you don't really know what they are.
And then when we get closer into, like we said, like week 4, week 5, then we can start having a better gauge on.
I just thought
on players and injuries and defenses.
Bad as Cincinnati looked in that first game, they always start the season pretty decent, and they are at home. I just felt more confident with it. All right, next game we're doing is we're just going in that order right there. Next is Dallas at Denver, and you go ahead. What do you got?
Well, I can't go against my boys.
Oh, no.
But that's my fault. But even if I wasn't a fan, I'd still pick Dallas because, like we were discussing over text last night, and a glass of wine, red wine. Dallas's offense is no. I had it swapped. Okay, Denver's offense is not better than Dallas's defense.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. The Cowboys' offense and defense. I mean, Cowboys' offense versus Denver defense. Those are kind of juggernauts.
Both very solid.
You know what I mean? But I think they might have like a slight edge over it, just because of all the weapons, and then we have better blocking. So Von Miller won't be able to get on the sides, or the other dude that they just brought in. So I think they'll have a better opportunity there. Chargers didn't have they have weapons, but not seasoned weapons like the way Cowboys do, as far as receivers are concerned. But then Simeon and the Cowboys secondary doesn't get as much credit just because they don't have any star names except for Orlando Scandrick. When that dude's, no one really even knows who that guy is. You know what I mean? So they're often overlooked. But they held Eli Manning throwing it. Brandon Marshall's a top receiver. Sterling Shepard. That dude's a badass. You know what I mean? You got Evan Ingram, who's a tight end, who's a star, coming in. And then none of them exploded. The Cowboys defense got to Eli a couple times and frustrated him, causing him to make some double moves. So I feel good that I'm going to give Dallas 5 points. That's me.
Okay, so when I was making these picks, I was looking through and I thought there's only one road favorite. So Dallas is actually favored by 2 points in this game. And I just wasn't a big fan of that. I was like, it's early in the season, but Dallas was the road favorite against Denver. Denver has a very good defense. And they just looked good in their game this week too. I just don't know who's going to win this game. I really don't. I want to pick both teams. So I knew you would pick Dallas. So I figured one way to make our point spread a little bit different is I'm going Denver, but I am only going to put 1 point on it.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Denver
man.
with 1.
Wow. Okay.
So one of us is going to get a game right at least. We know that at this point.
For sure.
Just one game.
For sure.
We're going to have one right.
There's no doubt about that. But, I mean, my explanation about the defense is, colliding.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, the Cowboys' defense is far from being an elite defense like the way Denver is. But I just feel that our defense can handle the wave that Trevor Siemian can put
agree.
up. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think if Denver wins, it's going to be a lower scoring game.
I think the Cowboys just have the defense out in the field a little bit longer, and so a couple burned routes.
I'm really interested to see
the no-fly zone.
The most interest I have is to see what Dallas does against Von Miller. If they have somebody always going to Von Miller, if they have a tight end,
they're going to have to chip him every single time.
I just can't wait to see that and see and how Prescott does against that. Because he does so well against pressure. He always seems so poised. So I want to see
those bootlegs, man.
Yeah,
those are going to be crazy.
So
that's right. Again, it's running right to Von Miller.
All the games we're picking are hard, but I think that was the hardest. So I gave it 1 point, and I went against you because I knew you'd pick Dallas.
I went hardcore and said 5 points.
I know.
Dallas.
I like it. I like the confidence right there.
That's where I'm at. Okay, Washington at Rams.
So this one is okay. So I have a couple reasons for I'm taking the Rams. I'm sorry, I'm taking the Redskins for a couple reasons. One, I think the Redskins are going to bounce back and look a whole lot better. I think Kirk Cousins is going to play a whole lot better, and I don't think the Rams are going to be that consistently good. I think their defense might be that good, but I can't see their offense being that good. So I really think the Rams are going to have games where they look great, and then there's going to be games where they look like the Rams. So I just think with the Rams having it, they're going to have an up and down year. I don't see them winning, having these winning streak type things.
They'll put up points.
I think there'll be some scoring. I also think Gurley getting 40 yards on 20 carries against the Colts without their best defender is kind of scary.
That doesn't look good.
It really doesn't. So I'm actually taking Washington, and I'm putting 5.
5 points?
Yep.
Well, cool, because I did 4 points.
Who'd you take?
I'll tell you later. Okay. I'm just kidding. No, I'm taking Washington.
Yeah.
There's no way that the Rams are going to beat. I mean, the NFC East is kind of stacked.
Yeah, best division in football, or up there.
Up there.
Best division in the NFC.
In the NFC for sure. But because then you still have the Chiefs and the Raiders.
That
division is stellar. But Washington's going to come back. Like I said, Kirk Cousins is going to come back. Not going to go out like a chump. All right, next one. It's what is this, like a 3:25 game, 3:30 game?
Yeah.
Green Bay at Atlanta. I don't even know an explanation. I think that Atlanta's it's on their own home turf, But you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, didn't Cowboys get beat up on their opening of their AT&T Stadium versus Eli Manning? And then these guys, Atlanta and Green Bay, are kind of having a back and forth,
a rivalry.
Yeah, and then Seattle too. So I don't know if Green Bay can go with the rivals back to back and still keep up. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm gonna switch it. No, I'm gonna go Green Bay.
It's so funny. When you started talking, in my head, I'm thinking like I'm gonna switch my pick, but I'm not. I'm gonna go with what I have. Oh, are you? What do you?
Oh, but I'm going 1 point.
1 point. Yeah. I kind of wish I had my 1 pointer back, but I already put that on the toughest game, I think. So I just feel like I think Atlanta and Dallas are the two best teams in the NFC. I think that it's going to show throughout the year. I also think Julio Jones is going to have a breakout game. You know, he got held in check this last game, and I think he's going to go for one of his games with, 10 catches for 170 yards, 180 yards. And being at home doesn't do anything but help. And I think Matt Ryan's going to show why was the MVP last year. So I'm taking the
Atlanta
Falcons with 2 points.
Falcons with 2 points. All right, I can't believe I changed my pick to Green Bay.
I was thinking about it too.
But I mean, those guys,
Green Bay can score, man.
They can score,
and if their defense is legit like it was last week, they're going to be good.
All right, last game, Monday night game, Detroit at New York Giants.
So this is another one I went back and forth on. I circled both teams at some point and fell. So the Giants are actually 3.5-point favorites at home. But so usually the way the odds work, if a team's favored at 3 at home, that's pretty much being an even. You pretty much get 3 points for being the home team. That's kind of how most times they make the
it's
spread.
like a home field advantage.
Yeah, and so really they're almost like a half-point favorite.
Okay.
So very, very little spread in their favor.
Yeah, and then if you can throw, I mean, that's 2 tough games for Detroit back to back going against Cardinals. He threw pick 6.
Yeah,
right at the beginning, but he shook it off and threw 4 touchdowns after that.
I thought the Giants' defense actually looked decent. You know, it wasn't like the Cowboys just went crazy on them. The Cowboys
but they left them on the field.
You're right. Yeah, the whole game,
70% of the time.
And so the Cowboys, put up 19 points against them. They only gave up 3,
and the Cowboys averaged nearly almost 30 points a game.
And so I think Detroit's going to come in and they are going to score some points. But I think the Giants, being at home, they're not going to want to go 0-2, especially in their division. That puts them in a real disadvantage, especially if Dallas pulls out the game against Denver. I'm actually taking the Giants at home with 3 points, and really, this one is. I almost want to put an asterisk by it and be like, if Beckham plays.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? If Beckham's on in this game, I would definitely put my pick on Detroit.
You want to swap it?
And put 3. If Beckham's starting the game, now even if he plays one play and gets hurt, he still played. You know what I'm saying? But
I think you just need to get him on the field. Even if he doesn't.
I think so too.
He just does the Terrell Davis thing where he has a migraine and just stands
just goes out there. But if Beckham plays, I think the Giants offense, finds a bunch of ways to score to kind of make up for their 3-point first game. So I put 3 points on the Giants.
All right. Well, sweet. We both have Cincinnati. We split on Dallas and Denver. We both have Washington. We split again on Green Bay and Atlanta. And Giants. We both picked them to win their home opener.
All right. And we'll watch you come back next week and cover the hopefully not with our head between our legs.
Yeah, that was kind of terrible. All right. This is my the garbage time. Final thoughts. It's getting kind of late.
Hey, we're packing in a week full of fantasy stuff into one podcast.
Yeah, we kind of did. But so what I was wanting to do is have not just a fantasy football league, like a whole NFL league without kickers. I don't like kickers.
So you're talking about like the NFL kickerless?
Yeah, and no more kickers. Because I mean, just because you call it football doesn't mean you got to.
Gotta use your
just
feet.
Call it throw ball or something like
tackle ball
or pigskin ball or something like that. I mean, just something like we should only just do 2. Like what I say, 2-point conversions, and then the quarterback. Because like when you're playing like a pickup games and stuff like that, you don't usually have someone
throw it off.
Yeah, you just throw it.
I was really good at punting it myself.
Oh, were you?
Or kicking it out. Yeah.
I was terrible at throwing it. So for a quarterback, generally was who would throw it. For someone who doesn't. Like the starting quarterback wouldn't do it because you don't want to throw your shoulder out and just throwing Hail Marys all the time. So you just get like a third stringer, or if a tight end used to play quarterback back in college or something like that, and just pretty accurate, give him a little shot, throw him in there. But I just relying too heavily on this position that just all it is take up roster spots for other people that you need actual positions for, like a running back. Or a tight end, or to protect your quarterback, you want to get an extra damn guard or someone to protect your blind side. You know what I mean? All these positions, like what you usually carry 2 kickers, 3 kickers, because you get a punter, and then a place kicker, and then another guy just in case. So you're usually carrying like 3 kickers That's 3 roster spots that you can actually do something with them, like put them in safeties or put them in just whatever position, any kind of position. Because kickers don't do anything. They don't tackle anybody, right? You rarely see them get tackled?
I did. One of the games last night, I think it was on a punt.
Oh, yeah. Was it Lambeau?
He laid out one of the guy returning it.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny looking.
Yeah, because he hovered over him,
yeah.
Right? Like he did something. The guy was already out of bounds, and he just hit his helmet. And then he looked at him like, come on, man. Like this dude's the dude's jersey never gets dirty. His shoes are hardly dirty. He's just. I called it the most, even beyond the quarterback. I called it the most diva position in football because they don't want to get touched. They don't want to get dirty. They keep to themselves. You know what I mean? Like they're always over there with they're kicking into a net or whatever. But that's it. That's all they do. And then we win games and lose games by them.
Yeah.
By these guys. They don't do anything else. And then that's all they do is kick the ball. And they can still lose a game for you. They didn't put in the fucking 55, 60 minutes of hardcore playing and practicing and push-ups and all this crap, and then just to come out for 7 seconds and then get blocked and then have to, this is the stupidest thing ever.
Or get all the glory if they do make it.
Yeah. And then you forget about all the players that did the rest, that picked up, it's like the setting up the pins and then you knock them down. Like, that's BS to me. Do you not? I can't stand it. Anyway,
I definitely hate kickers for fantasy purposes. I tried to get rid of them, but it was such a late in this, getting prepared. So
because you kept losing them by 18-3 or something.
Oh yeah. Well, honestly, if you would have lost last night, this past week, it would have been. I think your kicker got outscored 16-4 or something.
Yeah.
That's 12-point difference just from your kicker. I can't stand kicker. I also can't stand team defense, but I guess I understand.
Yeah, and then also if you hit a kicker,
you get a penalty.
They're defensive players, defenseless players. So if we're trying to keep all players safety in everybody's mind, why are you going to throw some guy that, for everyone except Janikowski, who doesn't weigh more than 140 pounds? Janikowski weighs 2 of those.
Yeah, he's 2 kickers in one.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
why he kicks up so far.
Exactly. So, no offense to Dan Bailey and McManus. I just like saying his name, McManus.
Well, and the thing is, there's really 6 good kickers in the whole NFL.
And they're all interchangeable. They're the whores of the league.
Other than those 6, the other ones just kind of go from team to team and find a spot.
Do you want that on your team? To be sharing everybody's secrets and everybody's dirtiness?
I bet they don't even give them a playbook. They're just show up when it's time to kick, man. You can kick. You're not allowed to know.
That's a waste of money, a waste of a position that's needed, and put something.
I hate it,
shouldn't be.
But I think I might start teaching my 8-year-olds how to kick field goals. Start them right now.
Yeah, kick field goals, but kick field goals into a goal and no soccer goal.
No, man. Never have them wear football pads, ever. And just always practice field goal. And so when he gets to high school, he'll never tackle somebody in his life, but he can just walk out on the field and kick a 50-yard field goal, make the team, make it to college as a kicker, make it to the NFL, do nothing but stand on the sideline. And be a diva.
So you're gonna
be a diva on the sideline
and be the one who's either hated or
exactly.
loved.
Yeah, that's why I think punter's the better position to be, because it's you shank a punt, it's they laugh at you, but that's about it. You miss a game time or game winning field goal.
Way more than you score.
I'll never forget. You remember Mike Vanderjagt? Wasn't that his name? He was the kicker. Whenever Vinatieri used to be on the Patriots, Mike Vanderjagt was the kicker for the Colts when they used to always go head-to-head, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. And that's right. Yeah. And there was that one game where I believe it was Patriots Colts, or it might have been Steelers Colts. Can't remember, but I think it might have been Steelers Colts. The Steelers were winning the entire game. The Colts got this really lucky play, this lucky fumble towards the end, and so Vanderjagt has a 35-yard field goal to win the game
known as
in the playoffs.
Shot or whatever.
A chip shot, yeah, and he misses it, and when he's kicking it, you see Tomlin, Peyton Manning, all of them mouth. Tomlin obviously is happy. He's he missed it, and then you see, or it might have been Cowher at that point. I don't know. The story doesn't, that part doesn't make isn't the purpose. But then you see like Peyton Manning on the sideline, mouth like he missed it, like that dumb fuck just missed this damn. We did all this work and he missed it. It's all you got to do. Yeah, it is pretty. It cracks me up. But the problem is like, okay, you take it out though, and it's like there's 20 seconds left, and you're on the 42-yard line. All the defense is going to do is like
sit back,
make a line, make a straight line across the goal line, and be like, all right, you got to make it all the way over here.
Well, that's where you practice.
Dude, unless you could do like rugby and you can like make a tower of players to like throw them over the goal line.
Exactly, cool. or you just form like a triangle and just run over
flying V.
All right.
Oh, it could be the flying V.
The flying V.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks for stopping by. We too. I wish everybody luck. Don't take us seriously last week on our pick'ems. This week, I feel way more confident.
I actually kind of prepared this week.
Yeah, it wasn't just I kind of just threw them at you.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of gave you like a heads up. You're like, "Oh, good games."
Yeah.
And then last week, I just
if we do really bad this week, next week I'm picking like 5 games that are all the easiest ones.
Oh, like the gimmies.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you Patriots versus? No, I'm not picking Patriots anymore. I don't want to pick them.
I know.
Anyway, all right. Have a good day.
Me too.